Hey everyone, I'm Mary Beth McAndrews from Grand Central, and I'm here today with the crew and the cast and the everything, the minds behind the new movie Faye. I'm here with Sarah Zanotti and Katie Amond. Hello.
Yes.
How are you guys?
Hi.
So before we start,
good. How are you?
I am very good. I am sad because I just watched this movie again, and I'm excited to talk about it. In a good way, I'm sad. But before we dive into Faye, can you just give our viewers a little bit of a synopsis of what Faye is all about?
Yeah. Faye's about a personal growth author who is mourning the loss of her husband. She is called by her publisher and told, you have to start giving us some pages on this new book, which is supposed to be on the grieving process, or we're going to drop you. So she goes to her publisher's cabin, which is isolated out in the Louisiana bayou, to finish her book. And weird things start happening.
So the both of you did basically everything on this project, right? Wrote it.
We had three other friends helping us, but we had a 4-man crew and Sarah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would occasionally slate myself.
Yeah, she slated sometimes.
And in my mind, I was like really on top of continuity. But they were like, you can stop doing that now. And I'm like, guys, I don't know.
So
if I don't do it, who will?
Yeah.
So where did the idea for Faye come from for the two of you? Did one of you kind of come to the other with it? Did you come up with it together?
Well, we were in pre-production for our first movie called Rattled, and we were just hanging out one night watching TV, and I paused the show and I was like, Katie, I want to be in a movie. And she was like, you're gonna be. And I was like, no, I want to be the only one in the movie.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Narcissistic potentially.
A little bit.
But yeah, I'm with you.
Let's do it.
So we were like brainstorming, wait, remember this? Okay. So I was like, what if we did like a kind of thing like, remember that movie called The Others with Nicole Kidman? She was like, yeah. And I was like, what if we do like something like that, but with like one person? She goes, so like The Other? We called Faye the other
forever.
For a
and
while.
On set, we would be like, okay, go get in the other makeup.
Yeah. But I mean, that was like the birthplace of it. We knew we wanted to make a movie with just me.
I knew that we would have to like break it up somehow, that it would be very strange to edit such a thing.
Yeah, I had the idea for the first scene in my head. I just like saw that initial car scene where she turns and nobody's there, and then we just sort of started.
Yeah, I think
putting the story together.
I sent a text in the middle of the night, and I was like, 5 stages of grief.
Yeah,
that's it. Let's write the script around the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
So cool. So, okay, but Sarah, you are the titular Faye. You are the only person on camera. What was that emotionally like for you? Because Faye goes, again, the 5 stages of grief. She's going through it, to put it lightly. Yeah. So what was that like for you to get into that headspace of Faye?
I mean, kind of like how you just described it, like it hurt so good, like it was so cathartic. And we started filming Faye 2 days after we wrapped our first feature. So we wrapped, and 48 hours later, we took our hair and makeup girl on that project and our producer on that project. We all got in a car, drove down to Louisiana. So I didn't have my normal like prep time to get in the mind or like the head of Faye until we got into that car. So I don't know, like, but also we were exhausted.
Yeah.
We had just finished this other indie film, which was also intense. Intense and hard.
You were definitely still in the like, it was kind of like just having a weekend and then going right back to shooting.
Yeah, I was ready to cry.
Yeah, I like to call that an emotional hangover. That's my favorite phrase. I would like to thank Real Housewives of New York City for giving me that phrase, but still, emotional hangover. It was Bethany. It was Bethany.
Oh, it was Beth. Okay. But yeah, and I love characters like this. I'm a deep feeler in real life. I mean, I'm a crier. I wear my emotions on my leave. So yeah, it was just a matter of being able to dial that in front of a camera. But yeah, it was intense, but like I said, in kind of the best way, if you enjoy letting it all hang out.
So did you shoot it like not linearly, but because the film plays with time also in a really fascinating way, so it's hard to like shoot things completely straightforward. But did you kind of shoot chronologically almost, like especially in the house, or was it a little bit more mixed up timeline wise?
In the cabin, we shot chronologically.
Okay.
I think the first thing we shot was the car crash stuff, like the very first thing we shot.
Yep.
And then the last thing we shot were all the monologues against the red curtain. We did that during quarantine.
Yeah, a couple months later.
Yeah.
Cool. And then so but in terms of like this playing with time, I won't say too much, but the way you, especially there's a monologue towards the end, Sarah, where you're talking about different lifetimes and time, like, intersections of time and dimensions. And I really love that. And it kind of made everything tie together in my head really well with this film and how you shot it. And I just wanted to hear more about how you guys thought about playing with time, and if that was something that came later or was something you initially thought of, and kind of how that came into the script, because it's quite gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Those black box monologues felt like they could exist in any time, like that she would be giving pieces of who she is from stories from different periods in her life. And I think we both find it fascinating that I'm really into quantum physics, and so I was like, everything is happening now, like, and just playing with that idea of like how at any point in your life you could think about something that happened years ago or whatever, and you can still feel it in a way that's so visceral, like it's happening now. So I think just like
time is also something that's completely out of our control. So it's one of those things that like we just kind of blurred the line with time for Faye. She keeps waking up in the tub. Like, did it really happen? Is it Groundhog Day? Like we definitely played with that element. And I think a huge part of it also is like she's on a deadline, yet she doesn't know what day it is.
Yeah. And I think also when you're like grieving or when you're processing through any major emotion or, life circumstance, you're like, where am I?
And you can't
in time and space.
You also can't put time on
time
that,
doesn't seem to really have a hold on you, because you're just like, this is the only thing I'm focused on right now.
Cool. Oh, and 100% it feels like that. And I just I love when movies play with time like that, because I think it is so fascinating. And again, I also am very fascinated by quantum physics, and like everything is happening now. Like I get that very much. So you filmed this entire thing on an iPhone, correct?
Yeah.
How?
That one. These two right here.
So I just want to, that always blows my mind as someone who is not a filmmaker and who has an iPhone and is like, I don't understand how this is possible. So was it like was it a resourcing thing? Was it like an artistic decision? Was it both? Honestly, because indie filmmaking, we all know, is like DIY kind of guerrilla filmmaking, but why that choice?
It was definitely a resource thing.
Like
we begged and borrowed everything on Faye, like it is literal just super DIY everything. I had shot a movie on an iPhone before, so I was pretty familiar with Filmic Pro and like using the little lenses and stuff. I wish the 13 had come out, because there's still like, there's some parts that are more grainy than others, but in general, I was like, I'll run the whole thing through like there's a third party software that creates extra film grain on the movie. And so I put everything through that so that it has kind of a grainy, super indie old feel to it from the get-go,
Cool. And so was it just you holding the camera, just like with the iPhone?
Had a little gimbal.
Little
L-shaped gimbal.
Yeah,
that was it the whole time.
This was A cam and this was B. Our other producer, Sarah De La Haya, she had you had a gimbal and she had the movie.
No, the other way around.
Other way.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And it's both like really impressive, but also never want to do it again. I feel like it's like, cool, I can do this, but please can you just give me the money for a camera?
Right. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And we just, our last movie we did have really good cameras on. So
Yes.
that's exciting.
Although I will say, like, there were some shots that we would have not been able to get had it been a real camera. Like,
that's true.
Oh, like what?
Well, okay, so the drowning, I don't want to give too much away, but the strangling part, we put the phone in a pot of water and I just shook it like this. I was holding the phone as though it was, the other thing, and literally dunking it into just a saucepan of water, and just going,
just growling at it, dunking it in a pot and growling at it,
like you do,
Yeah. You can't do that with a big camera.
No, you can't. You can't put a red camera in a pot with water.
Now that's movie magic, there, my friends.
That's what it is.
So I'm curious, how did the two of you meet and start working on films together?
I was testing surround sound for my first movie at a friend's house, who's a mutual friend of ours, and he was like, watch this short film that I just DP'd, and I watched it, and Sarah acted in it, and she directed it and wrote it. It was her short film, and I was just really impressed with her performance, and I immediately was like, who is that? Give me her number. I want her to do this sizzle reel for this other movie that I'm pitching. And I FaceTimed you.
Yeah. Oh, this is actually hilarious. So she was like, can you get on FaceTime really quick? I want to talk to you about this project. And I was like, yeah, but it was like late at night and I looked like
you had a mask on.
Well, here's the thing. I was like, oh, I can't FaceTime right now. I can't because I looked like not good. And so I was like, how do I fix this? Just like really quick. Oh, a face mask.
Yeah.
So I put on white face mask.
Like, that was the solution to like
yeah. So it was like Mrs. Doubtfire answered the phone call.
I was like, hello. And I was like, the reason why I can FaceTime is because I'm waiting for this face mask to set right. Like, no, not because like I just picked the shit out of my skin. Like, anyways, so that's brave share.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
So I showed up on set for her sizzle reel. We had this immediate sort of like, I don't know,
easy connection, actor director thing was just like seamless.
Then I came up to her at the end of the shoot. She's talking to the DP and I sort of like crept in casually, coolly. And I put my arm around her waist and I just said, I'm going to be in everything you make. And then I walked away and I never broke eye contact.
Creepy smile, never broke eye contact. She's like,
and
I was like, okay.
She's still around. And now you guys made another movie together? More movies, probably.
3 weeks later, we formed a business.
Yeah.
That's true love, though, more than anything.
Yes,
that is true.
Great. Yeah.
Little soul family situation. And now we're roommates and business partners and pretty much in a sexless marriage. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It is cute. So were you both?
People are always like, look at y'all's relationship.
Yeah.
I'm like, taste this.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was this like yesterday? No, I'm just kidding.
Not that long ago.
That was the end of 2018.
We will have known each other for 3 years in September.
Yeah.
Wow.
So less than 3 years.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So are the two of you horror people? Like, are you big horror fans growing up? Okay. I want to hear more about that. So, okay, I'll start with Katie. What was your first horror movie that you ever saw growing up?
Very first horror movie I ever saw was Poltergeist 2.
Oh,
with
2.
The tequila worm.
Yep.
That one. The H.R. Giger worm. Scared the shit out of me.
How old were you?
I think 8, maybe 9.
Oof.
Get it.
3rd grade. I was definitely in 3rd grade, whatever age that is. Yeah.
I was 9 too when I saw my first horror film.
Yours was Halloween.
Yes.
You got a better one.
I love the range, like legacy scary movie and like a sequel to.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So then what were both of your relationships to horror growing up?
I mean, so Halloween scared the crap out of me. I was terrified, but also loved it in a weird way. I grew up in a really religious household, so I wasn't able to really, like, I snuck downstairs when my brother and his friend were watching Halloween, and that's why I saw it. My mom would definitely not have allowed me to do that. but so I remember thinking like The Exorcist, like if I ever watched that, like, you know,
Straight
I'm
to
a
hell.
goner. Yeah, like,
Oh yeah.
there is no chance for my salvation. But which now I would argue The Exorcist is
A faith-based film.
so faith-based. But
Totally.
but then when I got to college, I just started watching horror films I lived by myself for a semester in college, and I would just watch horror films by myself at like 3:00 in the morning, like a freak. And I wasn't scared. I was just like, what is going on here? Like, loved it.
Yeah. I just always loved them. Well, I mean, I was scared of them growing up, and I think in maybe like 5th or 6th grade, it conquered my fear by watching all the bad Halloween sequels on AMC.
Yes.
Every
yes.
Halloween.
Every
That would
Halloween.
happen, like the one with Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Oh my God, the one with Paul Rudd. I always forget about the one with Paul Rudd.
Yeah. And the one with like the little girl in the clown suit, Jamie. Like I
Yes.
watched all of those, and then I was
Oh.
like, I can watch horror movies now. Then I tried to watch The Exorcist, and it traumatized me.
Yes. Yes.
But
Also, like I like at the time we made Faye kind of looked like young Linda
Yeah.
Blair, which
Freaked me
really
out.
freaked her out.
I was not doing well.
You can't show, like, you can't even bring up a picture of young Linda Blair without Katie being like, please, no, not today. No.
I'm like, it's fine. It's one of my favorite movies. You just gotta warn me first. Because
Yes.
if that face comes up, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the best and also most terrifying makeup ever put on film. Ever.
It's
Yeah.
the worst.
Ever.
In the
I'm
best
just
way.
like, oh, you know.
Exactly.
But I think both of us like, and then when we started like sharing about our love of horror films, it's really like, for me, I'm a huge psychology nerd, and I was always fascinated with why the villain becomes the villain, why the monster becomes the monster, what's underneath that. I love slasher films. I think that they totally have their place and in my heart, but really the horror films that I like the most are with like the underlying why.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Tell me why.
It's really interesting to figure out like what made the monster.
Yeah. Well, Michael Myers. It's
Yeah.
like we get to actually through the film see what's going on there.
What snapped. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what are your favorite movies you've seen recently? Like what are a few ones that have stood out?
Everything Everywhere All the Time.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Speaking
that
of
was so good.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That movie, I
Everything
cried.
Everywhere.
I cried at everything,
All at once.
apparently.
Oh, me too.
Me too. I cried. I laughed. It
Oh.
was so phenomenal. I think
Yeah.
it's probably in my top 10.
Yeah.
And then as far as horror movies,
We just watched X.
X was cool.
Oh.
X was cool.
I love X.
What was that one we just watched on HBO? It was kind of Faye-ish. Like she like had
The
the
Ni-
house.
The
Yes,
Night
yes,
House? The Night
Yes.
House?
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so this transitions to my next question, my last question for you, which is going to be, what film would you program a double feature with Faye with? And I was thinking The Night House would be a really rad double feature with those two movies, but I will not answer for you because
Yeah.
But-
Well, we literally said to each other, Night House, we were like, Night House is Faye with a budget.
Yeah.
Like they got to add some things into that movie that we were just unable to do with our resources.
Sure.
Like storyline wise, stuff like that. There were just certain things we could not pull off.
Right.
with the resources that we had. But we watched that movie and we were like, damn, like they were, they were able
Yeah, it
to
was
like
cool.
expand story, expand like all of these things. I mean, trust me, Faye is our baby and we love her just the way that she is. But we were like, it's kind of Faye with a budget.
Yeah.
What was the question?
But if,
What
so
would
if
be
you
a
were
good
going to
double
program
feature?
your perfect
Yeah.
double feature, yeah.
Night House. In a weird way, Bronson would be kind of cool.
Bronson.
It's not
was
a
great
horror.
influence on it. I do.
But
love
we had
it,
a big
yeah.
influence with Bronson with his moments where he's like speaking to the audience. That's kind of what we pulled for the black box moments.
Honestly, I'd follow it up with Halloween, the original.
Yes.
Say first.
Or The Exorcist,
Halloween.
because we have references to both of those movies. in the
That's
film.
true. We do.
You should have
Captain
like
Howard.
one of them, Faye in the middle, then the other one have like a nice Faye sandwich.
Yes.
There we go.
Start with Halloween.
Faye. Exorcist.
No, Exorcist, Faye, Halloween.
Okay,
That'll work.
I
A
love it.
nice little Sammy.
Yeah.
Nice little Faye Sammy.
Faye Sammy.
Ooh, a Faye Sammy.
She's like, I don't know what to
It's
do.
like, I don't know. You
I
guys.
don't know what to do with you. You're crazy.
So I started laughing and I was like, I need to be professional, stay on track here. But thank you both so much for taking the time to chat with me today about Faye. It is such a beautiful film and I'm so excited for everyone else to get to experience this labor of beautiful love.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much
We
for having
appreciate it.
us.